Tony Bear, Venice, California. Venice and Oakwood used to be an all-black neighborhood, but the Rich took it over. They're having a Black Lives protest. Hey everybody, Jeff, Eric. Hey, Oscar.
I have you with a God, and it's up to you now to fight for the rights of yourself and your family and for you as period. Thank you so much, and we love you.
Venice, California.
I wanted to tell you a little story. I was
Hey,
married to
Dwayne.
a racist.
Hey, Nine Wayne.
And let me tell you, when I met him, he was not like that, but then I should have wondered, he was from Des Moines, Iowa. And then all of a sudden, I put him through the
Yes,
academy.
Black Lives Matter.
Then all of a sudden, I started getting beat up in a pretty regular basis. There were many times that I had to run out of my house because he was shooting a gun. He wanted to kill me in the back, and I would fall. One time he got me by my hair, and I was divorcing him at this time, grabbed me by my hair with a uniform on, shoved me up against a wall, lifted me up this much, held a gun to my head, and said, "Do you love me?" Now, what do you think I said? Of course I love you, but I had to leave my hometown of Albuquerque because I was afraid that he would kill me. After my divorce, I was stopped on a regular basis by police officers, and my car was searched all the time. I know what it is to feel racism. I know what it is to be called a dirty wetback. I know when there were girls that came into my high school who were from Texas who wanted to kill me and my sister because we were Mexicans. They tried to run us over. They would wait for us to beat us up. I understand that. I understand when I went to Iowa with my ex-husband. I was not allowed in restaurants. I was not allowed in restrooms and even carnival rides. People would just stop and stare at me. And let me tell you, I know how it feels. But I am so glad that this Black Lives Movement has awakened not only this nation, but the world. And you have to continue it on. We will not be stopped. We will not be stopped. Do not be stopped. Do not be stopped. We will not be stopped. Thank you very much, and save the church.
You're welcome, Michael.
What's up, y'all? I'm Stephanie. I took off my rollerblades for y'all. I live in Venice via Brooklyn, New York, and I wrote this speech last week, and thank you for this opportunity. How ironic is it that I have been holding my breath when George Floyd desperately cried out for his? How ironic that I felt out of my body tense and anxious when George Floyd's face was pushed into the pavement by the officer. How ironic that my stomach hurts when George Floyd's final words were "my stomach hurts." when George Floyd was pushed down for 8 minutes and 46 seconds by the officer's hands. I kneeled last week at a protest for 5 minutes, and all I could think about was George Floyd died by the officer kneeling. And last week, I broke curfew at the beach, while two black college kids were tased in their cars, windows smashed, dragged out, and zip-tied. You get the point. I am white, I am privileged. There was one black family in my hometown of Sedona, Arizona, and I have taken the color of my skin for granted. I replay his video over and over in my head, thinking about all of my beautiful, powerful black friends and what stories they must have and how I've never asked. And I know that those stories will probably never happen to me, and I am filled with pain at the thought of anything else happening to them. Moving my body has been the hardest it's been in a long time. I feel heavy, and I remind myself over and over again, it's not about me. This is not about my ignorance or any guilt I could hold about my privileged upbringing or the color of my skin. And me holding in all of the pain and suffering I see will literally do nothing. But I can transcend my feelings into action. Many of you may be holding back due to not wanting to say the wrong thing or offend. And while you wait, hundreds of black people are being arrested and killed. I have awareness now, and it took me 28 years. It took me crying in my bed watching George Floyd's video from beginning to end. And then a fire lit up deep in my soul. I urge you to leave your comfort zone. There's nothing there. And stop saying sorry and stand up for those that are fucking tired. Tired of living in fear. And yes, I am very late to the party, and it doesn't matter. What matters now is that I am here, and I'm not leaving. I'm just getting started. Join me. Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. Excuse me for a minute. My name is Ishta Flores. I am Mexican, and I have become a citizen of this country where all of the immigrants come. People who are looking for hope. People who want to speak their own truth, as this lady, come to this country. I am your typical immigrant. I come from a town, my father was a healer, my grandmother was a healer. My grandmother, an Aztec woman, who suffered discrimination as every single indigenous people in all of Latin America, in the United States, and the original people all over the world. I am a woman who came here, struggled, had children, walked away from a toxic marriage, raised two young men who are part African American. They are culturally Mexican because I am Mexican. My son came to visit me during the epidemic when we were locked down. And I saw my youngest son, who is dark complected. And for the first time in my life, I was worried. I
about my son. I told him that he can be anything that he wants. That if he wants to be African American, please go to Africa and learn about all those beautiful traditions. He's Mexican by culture, both of them. I am not a racist. I defended at 8 years old a young girl that was physically abused in Mexico by these thugs. And I stood up to defend her, and of course, I couldn't do anything to them because they held my shoulders. Later, I found out that she was gay. I will defend anybody with my life. I have benefited of having friends who are Caucasians, who have supported me, who have guided me, that are my clients because of the businesses that I used to have. But I remember working 3 jobs, a full-time job, a part-time job, and a Saturday job, and on the weekends I cleaned so that I could get my children ahead. I am a self-made person. But it doesn't work to do anything alone. We have to reach out to others. And if we are not understood by others, we have to teach them with love and compassion and understanding, because we must remember, when we took this physical body, we chose the lessons, the race, the nationality, the country, and the religion. I am here to speak for peace. We can change the world. Our entire journey for over 7,000 years has been of wars, destruction, and killing. And the results are, it does not work. We women are powerful, but not the kind of power that everybody talks about. Do you know why we have power? Because we give the gift of life. Every time a woman has a baby,
Hey, President, how are
we
you?
give hope to the world. Every time we have a baby, we are connected to every single woman in the world. Even those who do not give children, we give children for them. We are powerful. Do you know why so many people went out and what happened to George? Because they, like me, when I saw what was happening, I thought about my sons. I heard him calling Mama. I am a mother. I lost a son. Everybody, every single woman lost a son. We women, do you know that men follow women? Men are dying for tenderness, love, compassion. We don't have it. We have become too masculine. I don't mean to insult anybody, but for women to make it in this world, this patriarchal world, women are becoming what I call she-men. And that's what the men are marrying. And we are trying to find our femininity through plastic surgery, through all kinds of things that are altering our being. But fortunately, we give birth. And every time we give birth, we are reborn. Wake up! Who's setting the trends? Men! They have no business telling us how to dress. They want us to be ourselves. Wake up your femininity. Turn inward. The answers are not out there. The answers are in your heart. They have the answer for us. Our environment is being destroyed. We women can do that. We can change the world. We have love. We have compassion. We have generosity. We are willing to kill ourselves for our children. Wake up. I am grateful for the millennials. They are the ones that decided I'm not eating more junk. I'm not doing what they have been doing. And now they are going to have children. And hopefully we will wake up before we destroy our beloved mother.
Hello, my name is Michael Rosario. I'm not from here originally. I'm from South Florida, but I've grown to really admire this Venice community. It's kind of grown into me, especially as I've started to help coach kids over there, just right over there in this little park here. Race has always been an interesting topic for me because my dad is black with as well the indigenous people of the island of Puerto Rico, and my mom is a white Cuban. There you go. And I have cousins who are as white as a Hanes t-shirt, and other cousins who are just black. I also have cousins who have the last name Yi. I don't know how that happened. But the reason I'm saying that is that is what I can see as this work that we're doing here is similar to what was happening before in the 60s, and my family is a product of that. If people didn't stand up in the 1960s, I probably wouldn't be here. I did a little research. I knew that there is a legislation passed, a court decision passed in 1967 or 8. It's 1967 in Virginia that allowed these interracial marriages, made them legal. And I knew that much, but one thing I found pretty incredibly ironic was that the case is called Loving versus Virginia. And I think that speaks volumes. It's it's kind of obvious why Loving won. So I think that the work that we're doing here is phenomenal, and having this show of support for black and brown people is the only way that we're going to be able to move forward. But it can't just be this show, right? It has to be with our votes, with our actions, and it's happening. It's only been a week, 10 days. You can see there's money that they took from the LAPD and are now directing it towards black and brown communities, right? It's not enough. It's not enough. Absolutely not. Just like our protests in 1960s, it was not enough. But it is progress. Never forget that. That what you're doing is progress. What we're doing is progress. And it will never quite be enough to repay for what has been lost. It'll never be, but you can always keep on chugging at it, right? And you can see with these corporations as well, like that, even though that they are more likely than not looking at it from a money perspective. Oh, these guys think it's cool, so we're gonna kind of catch on that. But there is support. And last thing I kind of want to say is this is awesome right now because it's a movement and we all feel it. And some of us may not have solid jobs right now because of the pandemic and everything, so we have time and energy to do this. But what I really want to call for everybody, including myself, is to continue doing this even when it's not cool, when it's not the first thing on our minds. So continue to keep that energy when we're going to vote, when we're going through our daily lives, when we see injustices that might be a little awkward, you don't know if you should step in or not, go ahead, step in. Well, it says so. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for your time.
That man teaches soccer across the street here, right? Yeah. Okay. This right here is what's known as Oakwood Community Park. Yeah. That used to be houses over there. People gave up their houses to make that park. Just like people gave up their houses to make this a church. This, E.O. Home Square, was the heart of the community. And unfortunately, the Penskes have decided to cut the heart out of the community. They have bought up this land. There are people over here who turned this park into a dog park because they don't like the dog park over on Westminster, a half a mile from here. They are preventing people of color, elderly people, children from using that park. And that is also a form of entitlement and privilege. And unfortunately, I can't even say they're all white. There are all kinds of people who do that. But what I want to say is that, like this building, that park needs to remain part of the community. It is social infrastructure. Penskes took a place where Occupy could have a meeting. We did that, exactly. So anyone who wants to get involved, there's a petition up at SaveVenice.ca. Please sign the petition. Please let the Councilwoman's Bonin's office know how you feel about this. This is very important. They could take this whole thing by eminent domain and turn it into housing, a church, a school, all kinds of things. But they're not going to do that because money talks. And as we know, there is a problem in our building commission and down at City Hall with corruption. It's been exposed. Jose Huizar was taking money from a bag man. Exactly. And there you go. He's not even a white guy. Who are you going to blame? The reality is these issues are complex and complicated. Race, ethnicity, and class all intertwined, sadly. Exactly. He's gentrifying the neighborhood just like Bonin's gentrifying this neighborhood. Code enforcement was used to clear out the black community and let white rich folks generally move in. And that's what's happening to this park over here. They're trying to take the park from the community. So whenever you see someone letting their dogs off leash over here, feel free to let them know that that's not okay. That's not okay. Now, I want to point something out. A year ago today, a woman named Emerald Black in San Leandro was forced into a miscarriage by police officers stomping on her stomach. I know. Has anyone heard about that case? Very few of us have. I'm glad someone has. The reality is, it's not just George Floyd. You know, these things were going on for years and years and years. We had a black president and a black attorney general, and yet Trayvon Martin's killer went free. Michael Brown's killers went free. So the reality is, while political solutions are important, we have to face facts. We don't have easy choices. We have non-competitive districts. We have people going up against each other who are both on the same side of the issues. You realize Joe Biden wrote the Patriot Act? Joe Biden wrote the racist drug laws? Joe Biden helped start the racist political machinery in the prison industrial complex? He did. So that's the sad fact. Whenever we have a choice, they do their best to take it away from us. 42 years ago,
Sorry.
Kennedy was killed in this very city, murdered. And that was a guy who actually was thinking about doing a few things about it. And yet we all sit here and we talk. I heard someone say the word conspiracy. American history is a conspiracy. I'll tell you this much. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said something like to the effect of, nothing happens by accident in politics. So whenever you hear something being couched as a conspiracy theory, realize that that was something that was weaponized to attack people who were critics of the Warren Commission report. It really was. We need, I'll go, but the reality is that we need people to organize and stay organized and get together and create something from this moment. True. They call me the people of California. You can call me, private terms. The reason, it's kind of funny, Emerald Black was killed over bad tags on her car. We see that that's not an essential problem these days because the police aren't enforcing it right now. It's, in a way, George Floyd gave us an excuse to come out of hiding. We were all in self-imposed exile, and I believe that was for a reason. It was to prevent political organizing. And someone mentioned the technology that's being used oppressively. Contact tracing technology is being used to target all of you right now at this march. DARPA created the internet. So the reality is we need to work together to find answers to all these problems, and I'm not going to be able to do it in 4 minutes. Oh, thank you. But I will point out that this moment can be used to organize and galvanize this community to fight for justice. That's what we need to do.
Can I just say real quick, we plan to keep organizing events like this, so we need people like, I heard someone say, let the youth speak. We need more of the youth. So come speak to me after if you want to continue helping your community.
I'm a late bloomer. Hi, my name is David Bush. I'm homeless. I first moved to Venice in 1980. I was a bus mechanic. I had the American dream. I had a Triumph sports car. I had 3 VCRs. I had a front-facing ocean view of Venice Beach on the boardwalk. And that's when the nightmares began, because we elected an illusion, a lie. A person said that it was morning in America, and somebody recently said, look what it's brought us, morning in America. We're mourning the death and the destruction and the genocides that have occurred because we were pursuing money and wealth and property. Let's understand something, people. Somebody said it. Property is theft. If we're going to end this racism, if we're going to end this genocide of ourselves and this ecocide of this planet, we're going to have to get over that illusion of property. And maybe going out in the street and living in a tent for a while will help you realize how much freer you are if you do that. And if you take the police oppression for doing that, and you take the books of people stuck in their addictions of property, and they're disgusted at you because they're truly disgusted at their own greed. I just want to remind everybody else, as other folks have said, that there are people that bled and died for this property. And they're the people today that are trying to turn this property, not to themselves, but back to the community, as the largest 7 contiguous blocks of community space in Venice. And anybody who claims to represent the community as a council person, or as a leader of the Venice Neighborhood Council, or as a leading citizen, the largest owner of Rolling Stone magazine or Variety, one of the leading names in Hollywood, the Penske family, to say that they're for this community and they want to turn this property into their private mega mansion. They've confused community service with the massa, because there was a place where the massa had the biggest house in the neighborhood, and it was called the Big House. This will be the single largest single-family dwelling in all of Venice, if they're allowed to do this. And their claim is that by preserving the outside of this building as a church, that they're honoring it by their squatting inside of it in their hot tub. There is a reason why here on this event, to mark the change, the end of black murder in this country, and the day that we can date our lives by BF and AF, before Floyd and after Floyd, instead of before Reagan or after Reagan. Let's make this the beginning of that, and let's make this the end of property and the end of greedy gentrifiers.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm just a girl. I easy to talk about these things. I'm really terrified right now, but I feel like I have to, because there are still a lot of people in this country and in this world who believe that the police is here to keep us safe and to protect us. Thousands and millions of people, led by Black Lives Matter and activist organizations, are asking for the police to be defunded. And there are still lots of people saying, no, but we still need the police. Like, what would we do without them? How will we stay safe? So I want to encourage everyone to think about what would a world without police look like? We need to create visions for a world without police, and I don't know yet what that looks like, but I want to tell you what the world with the police as it is looks like. I've been privileged enough to not have to deal with the police for most of my life until I was assaulted. And when that happened, I was alone. I had lost my community. I was really scared. I had nowhere to go. I wanted to die. The Creator connected me with a therapist who helped me stay alive. And she convinced me to go to the police, even though I didn't really want to. She said, you should go to the police and seek justice as a path to healing. So with her support, I gathered all of my courage and all my strength, and I did that. I went to the police to look for justice. And do you think that the police has given me justice? Years later, I have not had any justice at all. Do you know what the police did? Instead of helping me find justice, they humiliated me. They interrogated me. They made me feel guilty and ashamed of what happened to me. Made me feel as if it was my fault. Whereas the person who did it has never been confronted. He's still out there, probably doing the same to other people. So I just want you all to know that the police is not here to keep us safe, no matter what anyone has told you, and no matter what your personal experience has been. Despite the Me Too movement that happened, it was now, 2-3 years ago, so many women came out and were so brave to speak out about these things that are terrifying and so vulnerable to share. And what happened? How many of those perpetrators have been prosecuted or even investigated? Do you know what the police does when they tell us we can't do anything unless you have a rape kit, unless you collect evidence after you are assaulted, after a crime is committed against you? Do you know what they do with those rape kits? They stack them in boxes, they put them in buildings, they don't even look at them. The police is not here to keep us safe. They are not here to protect us. And I also want to speak to you as an activist. I'm an environmental activist. And there are psychopaths in this world who poison our communities with fracking, with chemical plants. They are killing our elders, our children. They're criminals. And there are brave activists who show up to try to stop them. These activists are the people who are trying to protect us. These activists are the people trying to protect our communities. And which side do you think the police is on? The police is the people who comes and arrest those activists, and they don't do anything at all to address the crimes committed by the companies who are killing us and poisoning us and stealing our health and our livelihood. So the police is not here to keep us safe, and we absolutely must defund them. Our city is currently proposing to give over half of our budget to the LAPD. They absolutely do not deserve that, and it will do nothing for us. So please, everyone, contact your representatives. Let them know. There are 3 budget meetings from the City Council every Monday at 2 p.m. Please, you can follow them online, call in and tell your representatives we do not want to give all that funding to LAPD, and we need that funding to be directed to housing, to services, and to things that people actually need. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Maya. I just wanted to speak on something in as a response to the narrative that a lot of people are putting out there with this whole movement on how it's violent and all that. So, but first off, I'd like to say I love Venice. My mom lived here for years, and although I don't live here, I love Venice, so I'm all about you guys. I'm tired of seeing white people post about how horrible these riots and looting are, but did not address the horrendous murders of innocent black lives taken by racist police. Y'all don't get it. The least you can do is acknowledge before you want to start a narrative on shaming the black community. The problem is systemic racism. The problem is the way police are trained. They are trained to kill, especially to kill black men. I know not every police officer is like this, but unfortunately, the majority are, and that is why we don't trust the police. That is why we say fuck the police, especially after they keep killing our brothers and sisters. I am a mixed woman, a black woman, and although you may see my skin color and see me as white, I came from black ancestors. Yes, I have white privilege because of how light I am, but I am black. I know what it's like to be forced out of my home with drawn guns toward me and my family by the LAPD. Because why? They were threatened by our blackness in a white community. They were threatened by the black men living in the house, my brothers. I will never forget that day. I was 14 years old with multiple guns drawn from every direction, pointing to me, my brother, and my mother to get out of the house. Which we later found out that they did not have a warrant to do this. They put us on display as the morning traffic went slowly by. Because why? Because of our blackness. Fortunately, it did not escalate that time. But for all the other black lives in which it did escalate, and the innocent lives that were stolen, like in the case of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and sadly, way too many others, my heart is with you. It's heavy, and you all deserve justice to finally be served. We've all seen what they are capable of, and that is why we are fed up. The whole system is messed up, and I believe that all this upheaval has to happen in order for things to systemically change. The revolution is here. I'm sending my love and prayers out that we do see significant change from all of this. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kylie Guerreros-Pipecki, and I'm mixed. I'm Black, Native American, Mexican, Italian, Polish, and Irish. And as a mixed kid, this whole thing has really confused me. But I decided to write something. It's called Go Inside to Go Outside. We breathe and let ourselves go. What we take in is what we take out. That is the act of sharing. We share our energy. George Floyd's breath was stolen. A white man crushed his throat. The oxygen that departed his lungs was left for us. Let's be conscious of the new air we are breathing. What George Floyd left for us is the oxygen he left behind. So don't lose your breath. Cry but never lose your breath. Scream but never lose your breath. Because it's only yours and it's yours to share. A lion decrowns a king because he loves his family. How are you going to express yourself to express your family? Just make sure you have pride. Pride creates legacy. Expression creates vibrations. Watch what you put out. Are you doing it for me or you? Just remember, we share this oxygen. I'm holding a protest at my school on June 9th, which is Tuesday, and all the graduates, I'm a senior, we're all gonna come out in our caps and gowns, so come out and support us. Venice High!
What's up, everyone? So, I want to ask white people, are you guys tired of being disliked, of being hated around the whole world? It's not a good feeling, is it? You know, the Middle East dislikes European Americans, Africa dislikes European Americans.
Okay, I just came by to give you guys
Asia
a
dislikes
sample.
Europeans Americans. Why is that? Because you have been sinning. And I'm gonna read this actually real quick. For the love of money.
This used to be
is
a
the
really
root
bad
of all
neighborhood.
evil. And it's not that
Now
white
it's,
people
get you
are
moving
born
in.
evil.
This is
It's
Oakwood
that
Park.
white people are born attached to their family's generational curse.
All right, folks. I'll be coming on later. If something does pop up.
Actually free
I
yourself
will definitely
from
go
this
live.
hate that is going around the world.
You guys are great.
Is you must free yourself of this generational curse. And the way that you do that is to say it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go 100% of ownership of America. It's okay to let